And welcome to episode 4 of our gaming reviews. Today's game is Zelda the Wind Waker on the GameCube. I am joined with Brendan.
How we doing, matey? You all right, yeah?
Yeah, all good, all good. And we've got a fantastic game. I know I loved this game, and I know Brendan didn't. So this is going to be an interesting one. We've just scored 3 games, 10 out of 10. So hopefully this one going to be a bit more of a controversy. I mean, we picked 3 games to talk about, which we shouldn't have really, because we knew that we loved all 3 games. So hopefully this one's going to be a bit better. But yeah, Zelda the Wind Waker on the GameCube. To me, this is probably the best game on the GameCube. Like I get shot down for it all the time. This game got a lot of hate. Yeah, it was one of the best-selling games on the GameCube. I think it was the second best, I believe. Best-selling GameCube. It was a different style of Link. I mean, obviously coming from the N64 Zelda to this was a bit of a change. I'm a massive fan of the Mask of Zorro, Mask of Zora. I always get these. I always get words wrong, so don't correct. And for me, the Wind Waker was just it made me feel even better. It was more open world than the N64. The storyline was it's just the same as your normal storylines, but it felt to me like a 3D version of the Super Nintendo. And again, I was massive fan of the Super Nintendo one, huge fan. And yeah, compared to it was the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I do apologize. But yeah, it was to me. I mean, it was the cell shading that turned everyone away. I think I'm not sure, but it did sell 4.6 million copies, and by I think I can't remember. I off the top of my head, I think the Ocarina of Time sold 7 million, maybe 8 million. So it did half as good as the Ocarina of Time. But it had the same elements. I mean, it had the Wind Waker whistle or whatever it was, which I loved. The ship in the open world was fantastic. I'll tell you what, there was bits where you could actually sit on a platform and just listen to the sea. One night I left my GameCube on and listened to the sea in the background. I hung him off a cliff, and he was hung there for about 8 hours. I listened to the sea when I went to sleep. So, Bren, what do you think about the Wind Waker?
Boring. Just like trying. I mean, I'm going to contradict myself here a bit, but I liked the concept of sailing within the game, but trying to go around trying to find what island and where took like 15-20 minutes, having to change the wind all the time, just boring. It just, and I think you answered it there, when you got A Link to the Past on the SNES and you got Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time on the 64, even though I wasn't a massive N64 fan. But this was just nowhere near as good as them games, to be honest with you. I've never been a massive Zelda fan, but because I'm into my gaming, or I still am into my gaming, to be fair, you had to play these games. Zelda's a big name in the gaming industry. But I don't know, Liam. This one, I just find it. I can remember the puzzles in, I think it was Majora's Mask. They were solid.
Yeah.
These were just easy, monotonous. Just not on the same scale. I mean, it's almost as if because the cube was a bit cartoony. Is that right? Can I say that within its graphics?
Yeah.
It's almost as if kind of tried to pull in a younger demographic with Wind Waker. Does that make kind of sense to you? I mean, because I think Zelda, you have to be a little bit older, to understand A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I think, you have to be a little bit clued up in the games with the puzzles and stuff. But I think this was, I don't know why, but it was almost as if it was kind of geared towards attracting a more younger audience to the game.
Yeah.
And
I mean, for me, I think, but that's what I think I liked about the game. That it was quite easy. The fighting was brilliant because it was dead easy. I mean, I liked the cartoony graphics. I loved the cell shading. I thought it had a really good element to it. It made Zelda, because I mean, I don't quote me on it, but I believe that like there was a Zelda series, the cartoon series that came out, quite a bit before it, but like quite after. So I think it was like Zelda 2 or on the CDI. I think it was. No, actually, they'll be talking. That's way after the GameCube. Ignore me on that one. But like, I don't know. I think when I used to watch the cartoon series and then I played the Wind Waker, I actually preferred it. I'm gonna get so shot for this, but I preferred it to the Ocarina of Time. I did,
okay.
I did, and a lot of people would say, "Liam, you're an idiot," and I'm sorry, but it just. When I played it, I mean, the Ocarina of Time was fantastic. I mean, it's another 10 out of 10 game. I mean, the Ocarina of Time was mind blowing, like ridiculously mind blowing. But then when
Yeah,
you have, I can't explain it, but the Wind Waker just had this, the So again, A Link to the Past, well, to me is the best Zelda. It is by far on the SNES was the best Zelda by a long shot. But the Wind Waker had that look of Link that he looked like in the SNES. If I was going to picture Link, I would picture him what he would look like in the Wind Waker, not that he would look like that in the Ocarina of Time. And I think I got that element of the Wind Waker from the SNES into the Wind Waker, and I think that's where I just fell in love with it. I love the fact that you could see the wind, and I love the fact that you could go out into the ocean. I loved that open feeling of just like I can get up and go anywhere and do what I want, except I need to go and collect other stuff to obviously get to certain places. But the bosses look brilliant, the characters look brilliant, the fighting was brilliant, and everything about that game just sang to me. It did. Like, and again, I played it the other day. I jumped on it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to." I mean, don't get me wrong, I can't complete it again. I haven't got the patience for it. But when it came out, I again, you could sit down, you could finish work, and then you just get on your boat and just go sailing and explore islands. And
yeah.
I can't
I mean,
remember a game before it that was as open like that.
yeah. I mean, from a visual point of view, I don't think that was seen. So the sailing was good, but it was almost like tedious, as well with it. Even though it was good, but I'm probably, because Wind Waker came out when I was obviously getting older, because there was a spell where obviously I had your Mega Drives, your Super Nintendos, your stuff from there, your N64s, even though I wasn't an massive N64 fan. So I probably just didn't give Wind Waker the attention it needed, or even had the patience for it at that age. But I've tried to go back to it. I owned a GameCube a few years ago, and I had a couple of copies of Wind Waker. I just couldn't. No, I hate to say it, but it's probably the worst one for me.
You're not the only person who says that. You're not.
I think it's almost, like if I think about Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, there were hard games.
It's the Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. It was hard games to play.
Yeah.
The puzzles, the bosses, blah, blah, blah. This, like I said earlier in the episode, it was almost as if it was geared to pull in that new demographic of being a Zelda game, which would be more easier for a younger kind of generation to play, if that makes any kind of sense. Does that make it a bad game? No. You have to move with the times. When we're getting older, Nintendo or whatever probably didn't expect people to still be playing the games at 43 years of age like we are. So I can understand. And the cartoon kind of GameCube look is going to attract a younger audience anyway, isn't it?
But the Nintendo is a family entertainment system, and I think that's what they did in the end. I think they did go towards more family stuff, so I see that. Even though you've got the Twilight Princess, and then you've got the Ocarina of Time wasn't really kiddified. But I don't know. I don't know what the reason is for soul shading. But did you like the soul shading? That's the thing. Was that a change for you?
It was, yeah, of course it was. It like I said, the game looked good. Game looked good. It brought a new style of visual from an entertainment system, but it was the gameplay for me. I mean, I don't. I knew this game was gonna. When you mentioned Wind Waker, I knew it was gonna wreck my head a bit. Because it showed us things that we'd not seen in the game before, so that's a positive. And the look of the game was good, which is another positive. But I just didn't get as much out of it as I did the previous Zelda games, and maybe that's why I don't enjoy it that much as maybe I should do.
Yeah. I mean, would you ever revisit the game?
Yeah. I would. I'd have to have a hell of a lot of patience, and I'd probably have to be retired. The amount of time you have to put into it, but I'll never say never, mate. To be honest, I don't think it's. There's a lot of people that will say it's the best ever Zelda game.
I don't think there's many people that do say that.
I think I'm with you though. I think A Link to the Past was next level. On the SNES. Yeah, it's a difficult game for me to talk about, Liam, to be honest. And I'm probably gonna get a bit of hate for it, but you know, I've got broad shoulders, pal, so I'm ready.
Well, I mean, for me, again, I'll go through the list. I mean, the graphics to me, I love the cell shading and I love the graphics. The gameplay to me was fantastic. The levels, the creative, like the creativeness of the creativeness. I don't even think that's a word, but you know, the creating part of the ocean and the exploring islands. The gameplay to me was fantastic. The story was amazing. It was your bog standard Zelda, which it always is, but I mean the story of Zelda is always good, and the music and the sounds and everything were just spot on to me. I mean, go for the list, Bran. What do you think? Graphics
good. It, like I said, it brought a new visual from an entertainment system. Yeah, that's a plus point. The graphics is a plus point for me on Wind Waker, to be honest with you.
Gameplay
easier than the predecessors. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I find it a bit kind of tedious and boring trying to change the winds and everything with your Irish traditional music flute playing.
Yeah.
But gameplay. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Not great.
Sound.
Very good.
And you didn't
very good.
And you didn't really finish the story.
No. So no, I didn't do a Cody Rhodes and finish the story, mate. No.
Okay, so if you was going to rate it out of 10, what do you get? And be honest.
But I am going to be honest, because visually and because the sailing, open world sailingness of it all, and probably looking from it from a Nintendo developer's point of view and trying to entice a new demographic into the cube, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Nice. Okay.
6.
So if I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, because it's my favorite game on the GameCube, we'll say that the Wind Waker got an 8 out of 10. Quite easy. So yeah, the Wind Waker gets an 8 out of 10. That was the Wind Waker on the GameCube. Thanks for your honesty, Brent. And we'll go to the next game. So yeah, see us on the next episode. Thank you again. And if you like top 10s, or you like talking about if you like us talking about games or seeing top 10s, just visit our YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook. And we'll see you guys soon.
The guppy.